Welcome to another podcast from the spa. We're doing our series of accidentally actualized. So we're up to number 8, mystical experiences and spiritual awareness. I'll let Mindy take this one away, I think.
So, mystic experiences to me means that you're open to feeling things from the ether or from source, and not feeling as though there is nothing beyond us, and also having spiritual perception away from religion necessarily. So, mystic experiences in my life have always been a bit interesting. So, I grew up in a household where my mum was a little bit eclectic. She did explore different religions and things like that. We did do a stint where we went to church for a while. She was, trying to kind of find her faith, but she was very open with us being whoever we wanted to be in terms of our spiritual awareness. So that allowed me to connect as a child to things from the occult. So my mum was in a few occult circles when I was young, and so that opened my eyes to the many different ways that we can look at things from a spiritual perspective. But it also allowed me to start looking at energy and starting to kind of understand what that means for me. And energy is the concept to me of what spiritualism is. So energy is what we exude, what we feel, what we expend, what we consume. So it just makes sums up everything that we can't see in terms of our experience here. So I learnt the tarot from my mum. So I like to do divination techniques. I like to play with magic. I'm not someone who's afraid of the occult because I think that it's very powerful, but I think it's very special as well, and I respect it. But I also know that when your intentions are good and when you have light energy, you're not going to be bringing anything dark in when you do um, look at those things, and when you do explore those things, there's nothing to fear. Fear is what drives darkness. But there are a few things that we've obviously experienced since we've been married, but also before we got married. But one of the biggest things was when we bought this house. So when we bought this house, before we even stepped foot in here, we kind of knew, we had a look at the place and we kind of knew that it had an energy to it, and there was something special that drew us to this house. So when we first actually came in, I felt that there was a presence here. I didn't know what it was yet, but I knew there was a entity or a presence here, and that kind of attracted me to the place. Not just that, but I also felt like I was being called to the place. So when we first stayed here, the first night after we bought it, we were kind of in between. Matt was working 7 days a week, so we were traveling between a place about an hour away from where we bought the place. And so we weren't here full time, but we stayed here that night. And it was probably, I reckon it was the second night that we were here, it wasn't the first night.
Yep.
And we went to bed and we could hear sounds. So wasn't just like the wind rattling outside, it was really obvious sounds like a knock, 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 on walls. There was footsteps that were really clear, and our children were all in bed. The light in the hallway just popped out of its socket out of nowhere and landed intact on the carpet. So we had all of these weird experiences, and this went on all through the night. So early hours, it was probably about 5 a.m. Matt turned around to me and said, "Oh, you heard all that chaos last night?" And I said, "Yeah, how could you ignore it?" kind of thing. Like, we both acknowledged
It
it.
was noisy,
It was
really noisy.
really like we would get, our attention was got. So we knew there was a very clear presence in the house. It was like, "Hi, I'm here." And they weren't menacing sounds. Like, it wasn't scary.
No, they're just letting us
They were
know
just,
there was
yeah.
something here. And it wasn't our first experience with this kind
No,
of thing. We've had this in
no.
other houses. We had it in a house down the south coast as well, which was
Yeah,
another
another
story.
story. But anyway, so I am not a morning person. Matt is a morning person. So he got up, early, early morning, 5 in the morning. I went back to sleep. And our daughter at the time was about 7. And so she got out of bed and she straight away said, without any inkling, any discussion, hadn't heard us talking, and said to Matt, "Oh, Dad, did you see the old lady in the hallway last night?" And he's like, "Oh, well, we heard her," because we don't hide or try to shield our kids from spiritualism. And she said, "Oh, she looks like Mrs. Pat, which was a teacher from her kinder, a volunteer from her kinder who was an older lady. She said she looks just like her. She seems like Mrs. Pat. She's got a nice energy. And so it was really funny that our daughter had, not even experienced what we had, but she saw an apparition of this woman who had been making all of this noise.
And she was pretty calm. She wasn't
Oh,
saying
yeah,
it
she was just
in a
saying it
frightened way.
naturally.
She was just like, oh,
Oh,
yeah,
did
I
you see
saw
the
this old
lady?
woman last night in the house. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Did you see her too? Kind of thing.
yeah.
Like she was innocently, and our daughter's always been very connected to the spiritual world. Sometimes it overwhelms her, but she's been very much able to
Yeah.
detect these things, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And so it was quite funny that because we just went, oh, yeah, we heard it too. And when I got up in the morning, Matt told me, oh, our daughter's seen it as well. She said to me, did you see the old lady in the hallway? So with that knowledge, her letting us know she was here, I started to tune into that energy to see basically what she wanted, because spiritually she's telling us she's here. A lot of spiritual presences, if you're connected to them, might not even let you know that they're around. I believe they're everywhere, but I believe that you get to know sometimes you don't. And sometimes I believe that if a person has passed away and they were very much caught in, say, the lower rungs of the pyramid, even, or just stuck in that earthly bound pursuit, like things like money and, just being stuck in, trying to make ends meet, that type of thing, and not really expanding consciousness, they might get trapped here on earth after they pass. And so she was asking to be set free. That's what it was. Like, she was really clear in that.
Sometimes it's like that. It's almost like they didn't know they were dead.
No,
like they just
yeah. Well, I think she
confused that they're in
did.
the house. And
I think she knew she was
that
dead.
one.
Yeah, I do. And I think she was asking for us to help her. That's what I felt. And she knew that we could.
Yeah.
And so it's not anything dramatic. Like, I'm not some master of trying to expel ghosts or anything like that.
No,
But
they're not the Ghostbusters.
no, but it just using intuition and thinking about energy. And I realized that this woman wanted to be released to the light. So I knew that she was good energy. It wasn't dark or heavy. And so we did a ceremony. My daughter was around for that too. The whole family kind of gathered around and we sent her to the light. We sent her off. We protected ourselves. We protected our home. And we said, thank you for allowing us to come into your home. We will respect your home. We will love your home. And it's now our home. So it was always like the baton was being presented to us.
Yeah.
And that she was honored that we were taking place. She might have died years ago. Who knows?
Yeah.
The house is like from the 40s. So
yeah,
it's
it's
a
one
lot
of the oldest houses in the area.
street. Yeah.
It was in the paper or something.
Yeah.
Too. Like they did a story about hauntings or something, and
Oh yeah, and
people online were talking about this house they were going on about.
And one of the previous residents actually commented that they lived in a house on our street, and then it was quite haunted. And I said, "Oh, was it this place?" And she's like, "Yes, it was." Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, okay." And so it confirmed that a lot of people have had experiences.
And we didn't know any of this.
No.
Like we weren't from this area when we moved here, so other people knew the stories of prior that we'd never heard anything about.
And so she sent her to the light, and after we did that, no more. No
No,
more
it was
of
over.
those.
It was instant.
Yeah.
You could feel it.
The energy
it was different.
lifted. Yeah.
Yeah, it was different.
So I guess it sounds a little bit wacky to say that.
It does sound wacky. It does.
I don't actually
It's
see
like-
it as a wacky thing. I'm just like, oh yeah, there was a ghost in the house. We sent it to the light. It's all
Yeah.
good. But I think that's like, yeah, but to other people, that is
You
really
sound like you're a lunatic. Get locked up for saying stupid shit like this. Sure.
That's not stupid.
No, it's not. Well, can I just quickly do one?
Yeah, of
I'll
course.
take us to the other story where we said
Ah,
that's another
yes.
story.
Yep.
So when me and Mindy met, we'd moved into a house on a Turos Heads, a beautiful kind of fishing village, bit of a retirement village, but that's where I was at the time. And we moved into a house, beautiful view. You could watch the whales jumping out of the water and all that kind of stuff, overlooking the ocean and the surf. And when we had got to this house, I hadn't told Mindy any background on it. And I was working at the time building a house next door to it, so it was pretty convenient for work. I could get out of bed and walk next door and build this house. And when I was building it, the people we were building the house for, one of them was a very high up, like big sarge, in what do you call it?
Homicide?
What?
Was he a homicide
Yeah, he was
detective?
homicide
Yeah.
detective, but he
Yeah.
was high up. So he had to go and deal with murder scenes and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
The stuff this guy had seen was just horrific, you know, just like, and
Mm.
having to go into places where someone killed themselves in a bath a month ago and it's turned into green soup.
Mm.
You know, that's the kind of shit this guy was seeing. He was hardcore copper. He'd done this, he was retiring. So he'd been in the system for, you know, 40 plus years as a copper, as a detective in homicide. So, um, I was building a house for him next door to us, and there was a shed behind us which he'd brought in the deal as well, and they built a little kitchen and stuff, and basically him and his brother-in-law came down a lot and stayed there when we were building the house, and they had big families, so when they turned up it was pretty noisy, you know, there'd be like 15 people or something staying in this massive shed as they were waiting for their house to get built. So anyway, one night I was having a barbecue and he was there, and I said, come over and have a drink and have some food. And he sat down, and the first story he pretty much went into was, do you ever get this weird feeling here? And he's like, it doesn't happen when I'm with all the family members. Like when we're busy and it's noisy, there's nothing. But when I come down and it's only one or two of us, I always feel like I'm looking over my shoulder and there was something there, like a shadow. And I just do it all the time. And it's scaring the shit out of me. I'm really, you know, I'm kind of freaked out. And he was asking me, what, you know, what's the deal here? Do you get this? And we'd had fun times in our house, all the TVs turning on all night, computers just booting up, not just waking up from sleep.
But it really
booting
got
up.
active when we had our first child.
Yeah, absolutely. When the
Really,
first child
yeah,
came
we
along, the
had our
place went
first son
off.
there, yeah.
So anyway, I was talking to this guy. I was having a little barbecue kind of thing. It was nice and quiet, so I could talk to him. And yeah, I explained, yeah, you know, absolutely, this place is pretty electric. It's active. And then I told him the story he hadn't been told either, that I knew the guy. I was working with the guy who owned the house we were renting. It was actually his father's, so it was all pretty connected. Small town, so everyone does know everything and everyone. That's how it works in a small town. But anyway, so it was he was yeah, shit scared. And as a homicide detective, I found that pretty weird that he was so scared of something like this.
Just the eeriness.
Yeah, and he was legit scared. He was, you know, even talking about it, it was all my hair standing up and I'm feeling freaked out. It's like it's over there watching me or something. And you know, fully freaking out. And so I explained to him that not long before, and I had to tell Mindy the story as well one day, as to explain the hauntedness.
What was going on in our house?
Yeah, the guy's father was a hard man, you know. And anyway, for whatever reason, the mother of the household got a shotgun and blew her brains out in a shed out the back.
She unalived herself.
She unalived herself. In, you know, made it pretty horrific way. So we had to knock the shed over because it was so messy. It was kind of like a little laundry kind of thing room. It wasn't a big shed or anything. It was quite a small area. But the mess that it left, we couldn't clean it. Like there was red stuff everywhere, and it had penetrated into, you know, concrete and bleach. Nothing.
There was still stain.
We couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah,
it would not go away. Yeah, you couldn't
yeah.
clean it. So no matter what we did, so we had to demolish the whole thing and just get rid of it because it was just too messy. You know, from cleaning up the unalive person, and so a lot of the energy would have come from that, and I explained that to him, and it totally made sense to him. He was like, "Oh, thank God." At the time, we didn't really give him much of a solution.
No.
I just said, "Oh well," but we knew we'd had to clear it.
I hadn't known yet.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when Matt was having this discussion with this detective, I didn't know that this had happened in the house, but I knew there was a presence
And it was fresh.
there.
It had happened like 6 months ago, kind of thing.
But I knew there was a presence in the house because when we first moved in there, Matt and I first moved in there, there was no real action. Like we didn't detect it yet. It was pretty quiet. Like couldn't feel her as much. But when I got pregnant with our first child, which was probably about 9 months after we'd moved in, that's when the activity started. When we were pregnant, when we got married, and when we had the baby.
Yeah.
And so, especially when we brought the baby home, and he was little, the action really started
Yeah, it was
taking off.
noisy.
And she'd had young boys growing up and a daughter. I think she had like 2 boys and a
Well,
daughter.
this is how hard that family was.
Yeah.
The boys had to sleep in a laundry on bunks
Which
in a
was
laundry. They weren't
outside.
allowed in the house.
The laundry was an
Laundry
outdoor
outside.
laundry.
Yeah, outside, unlined, no
Yeah,
insulation,
cold.
asbestos roof above you,
I'm really
and they
hot in
had like
summer.
shitty bunks, and that was where they had to live, and they weren't to be seen or heard, you know, and they had to like do everything they were told, 100%.
From the father.
It was
He was
rough.
quite
Yeah, he was a
oppressive.
rough guy, rough.
And so she would have come in, I believe, because she would have been like, there's a baby here. And so every mother, we know, if you've got some guilt that you carry, if there's something that you struggle with, it's going to, you're going to take that with you when you pass. It's going to be something that haunts you, if anything. So I feel like it was her trying to reach out, you know, to that nurturing side about the baby, almost like. So it wasn't again, it was a tortured type energy. It was
Yes, it was.
very,
Wasn't
very,
happy.
well, not a happy energy, but not someone who was out to hurt us, just wanted help. You know, it's always that kind of thing. And so we, when Matt told me, I was like, oh my gosh, we can talk to her just and tell her, we'll just speak loudly and we'll tell her to leave and ask her kindly if she wouldn't mind giving us our peace back, because she was scaring our son. So what was happening was our baby, who was in his room in the cot, like he was at that age by that time,
Yeah.
that he'd already transitioned from the bassinet. He was about 7 months old. And he was in the room across, like we had a big dining area, and our bedroom was on one side and his bedroom was across the dining area. And so he had to walk a fair bit to get over to his room. And so he would wake up and just high-pitched scream,
Full
like
on screams.
out of the dead
Full
of
on
night.
screams, yeah.
And our eldest was actually a really good sleeper, so we
And
knew
he'd climb
something
out of
was
the
wrong.
cot in fear.
And he'd be like trying to get out of his cot, like, you know, he was a big climber too,
Yeah.
so it was scary. It's like, oh my gosh. And so you'd literally get up for that chill scream and run into his room, and he'd be all wide-eyed and
Yeah.
scared. And so we knew that every time that happened, there would be some kind of energy, like the TV would go on. And this is like the old tellies, like the ones,
The big old CTR,
the
not
big
flat screen
so
LED.
they come on like,
Yeah.
you know, because it didn't have any AV
And just
connection.
anything with noise, all
Our
electricity.
computer,
all
you know,
electricity.
which was in the room next to his, like
Yeah.
would boot up,
Yeah.
suddenly
And it
boot
was funny
up.
that it was electricity because
Yeah.
her son and her husband were both electricians. And she literally knew how to fuck with our electricity.
Yeah.
Like computers literally booting up. They
Lights.
were turned off.
Oh, yeah.
They would just boot. And then the TV would come on. So it wasn't like that happened and then a week later that happened.
No.
This was like you walk out because he's screaming. The computer boots almost
Mm.
instantly like a fucking supercomputer. The TV comes on and just static noise. And it's noisy. Like
Yeah.
it's not like the volume you left at watching whatever you were watching.
No.
This is loud.
Like-
It wakes you up out of bed. Like suddenly, and there would be a
Or a show would come on, yeah.
whatever, just noise, you know,
Yeah.
and
And it would
that
wake
would
you
happen.
up.
And all the time, there was a room we used as a study.
That room was
all
weird.
the time. I don't know. Well, it was her room or something. I
Maybe
don't know.
when they were having
But
issues, she slept in
Like
there.
the guy, the homicide detective,
Mm.
I always got corner of my eye of that room. I
Yes.
would walk past and just look and go, "What the fuck was that?"
Why did that catch me? Why did I get that eerie feeling? And it was an
Yeah.
eerie feeling
It was.
when we walked past it. And Matt was trying not to, he didn't want to scare
I didn't want to
me.
alarm anyone. I knew
Especially
what was going on, but
because I'd had a tragedy before I met Matt. So he was like, I don't want to add to the chaos. Like,
No.
it doesn't really matter. You know, she's gone now kind
Yeah.
of thing. But it had to come up. So he's like, this is what happened. And when he said it, I was like, oh, thank goodness now we can do something about it. And so we literally spoke to her and said, can you please stop scaring our child? Can you please stop all the activity? We understand you're hurting. We acknowledge you. We see you. And we just had this like real weird conversation with her, didn't we?
we did.
In our bedroom.
Yeah.
Like sitting up one night, our baby was asleep, and we just said, can you please just stop?
Yeah.
And so then it did.
Yeah, it did. It
She
went away.
stopped. Yeah.
Went
And
away.
so you can always, we have the ability to connect with other realms, with other spirit, with energies that are beyond what we can see. And I think people forget that it's not just our perception here.
Well, even scientists of the boring nature that they are, they claim things like we use like 5% out of our vision. Like the spectrum is known to be massive, and we
Mm.
can only see a little bit. So to discount just because you can't see it, you're an idiot if you
Yeah,
discount
yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah.
Anything's possible on this planet. It's more
Being
amazing than
open
people
to
give it,
it. Yeah.
credit for. Like, and your hearing is the same. We're limited deliberately because I think our brains wouldn't be able to actually handle what's out there.
And I think
People
it's
wouldn't be
part
able
of
to function
discovery.
like an NPC. Like you got to turn it all
And
down.
I think it's part of discovery too. Like if you're not open to discovery, you'll never learn. We have the choice to bunker down, or we
Totally.
have the choice to expand our consciousness. And I always like the idea of expansion as much as possible, because we are here for a reason, and we're here because we do have this amazing ability to connect with energy beyond us. And I'm not saying I'm going to spend my whole life talking to ghosts or anything
No,
like
no.
that, but I don't mind it. Like, I feel like if an energy comes into my presence, it's up to me how I interact with it. It doesn't have any power over me. And when you claim, that's another one that we've already spoken about, when you claim autonomy over yourself, there is no risk with connecting to the ethereal. And yes, there are dark
You shouldn't be doing
energies.
Ouija boards, maybe,
No,
and
don't do
like it's not Ouija
darkness.
boards. It's just you shouldn't be doing ceremonies you don't
And
understand and
don't,
rituals you
yes,
don't
and don't
understand. It's
bring
a
in
bad idea.
anything for no
No, don't bring
reason.
in bad shit.
So
It's a bad idea.
I would never call spirits in.
No,
I would never call spiritual energy in. I would never
no, don't ask for shit like that.
ask a spirit to come to me. I would never do that, because it's not my job to call on them. I would always, if a spirit comes to me, I would deal with that if that happens. And that has happened, obviously. We've just
Yeah,
spoken
we
about a
just did
couple.
two
But
out
I'm
of
not,
it.
and I do a lot in my work. So, I do a lot of tarot readings, I do a lot of connection, and sometimes those readings will be hijacked by spiritual energy, and I can't control when that happens.
No,
And
but
I'm
that's
very,
usually when they're in tears and can't
yeah,
believe you know what you know
and it's
and
real,
can't explain
and
how
I
you
can't
know what you
explain it
know, and you
either.
can't either. So
But
they're all just baffled.
I'm also not resisting it, and I know that it's meant to be for them at that time. So
And I think
I
that's
trust
the
that.
spiritual awareness, like you're
Yes.
being aware,
Where?
which is number 8
Yeah.
of Maslow's
Yeah. And it's not up to
pyramid.
me if I'm working for somebody to spiritually guide them. Generally, I use, say, the tarot cards as like a decoder of energy. So their symbolism is kind of decoding what that client needs to know now, what they're needing to be guided with now. So they might come in, shuffle the cards, have a question about something, and the universe might be like, we're not dealing with that today. We've got to get you back on track with this relationship that's not serving you, or whatever it might be. And I'm going to focus on that. And then they're like, oh my gosh. And they're more thrown that it's a deeper thing than what they kind of previously wanted to know sometimes.
Yes, they didn't expect it.
Uh,
So then they're a bit
and so I'm like, I'm just going with that. And intuition to me is never letting go of the trust. So if something comes into the synapse straight away, like some really strong feeling, some energy, some thought about something, if you go with that on a whim, you're always going to be right. If you disregard that and start overthinking it, you've lost it straight away.
Yeah,
You need to go with it on point, don't you?
you do. Yeah, and on the topic of mystic things, you were talking about your mother before. You didn't really explain who she was, as in
No, I was telling
was
another story.
a big tarot reader. Like she
Yes.
did tarot readings for TV personalities and
Politicians.
very high up politicians in New South Wales and that kind of area. So she was renowned to being a tarot reader. And like when I was a kid, I had like experiences, but they were more, some of them were too edgy and too silly, and Ouija boarding and all this kind of crap. But for the last like quite a long period, I wasn't doing any of that. I'd been doing my own thing, and I met Mindy, and then I had to meet the mum, and I'd met her very briefly, and then she came down to stay with us. We were still in the place, not in the haunted house, but we were still in our little
That
two
looks like a haunted house.
Yeah, it did look like a haunted house, big time. And so Mindy's mum came down, and I knew she did tarot readings or whatever, and like I wasn't really interested in that, so I wouldn't.
You would
ask
he
her.
would laugh at me.
Yeah,
about
well,
it.
not really laugh at
You
people.
did laugh at me a little bit.
Well, yeah,
You made fun of me in a funny way,
yeah,
not in
yeah.
a.
I'm not taking the
No,
piss. It's just
You
not
just thought it
what
wasn't
I
your
did.
thing, so
Yeah,
I just would
totally.
do my tarot thing, and he
Totally.
would do his thing, and it was
So anyway, so yeah, sitting down, spending some time with Mindy's mum, and she did the standard, "Oh, I'll give you a tarot reading, blah blah blah." and she turned some playing cards into a tarot deck. So that was pretty weird, just watching her
Well, you were
remark.
actually saying, well,
cards.
there's no real proof, and we're kind of having that conversation.
Yeah.
So he was, which is fair enough.
Yeah,
He was
taking the
being
piss.
skeptical, and Matt always liked to stir the pot a little bit,
Yeah.
especially just for fun at night. Like,
Well, it is fun.
and so Mum was like, "Radio, well, I'll just do a
Yeah.
reading for you then, and we'll see what comes
Yeah,
out."
so
hey?
she did it. She turned normal playing cards into a tarot deck. Well, I think it took her 2 packs.
Yeah, 2
I think she
packs.
needed
You
2.
need 78
Yeah,
cards.
so
Yeah.
she did the 2 packs of cards, turned it in. And she started telling me all this stuff, and some of it was about work and health and different things. And it was kind of funny to listen to with the flow because, you know, I kind of was almost suspect she would just concentrate on certain things
Or
that
try
were
to cold
of her
read
interest
you.
to her or something,
Yeah.
you know. But then she didn't. She just kind of was
Went with the
saying all
flow.
this stuff. I can't remember word for word, you know,
No.
exactly what it was now. But the general vibe was that my life will change very soon, very quickly. I won't be able to do all the things I wanted to, like that I'm used to doing.
Yeah.
Work will change. I'll have a health impact, and a few other things. And yeah, I don't know, 4 months.
She actually mentioned
3
your back
months?
as well.
Yeah. Totally.
And Matt was actually, early 30s, fit,
Yeah, I was
you
like
know,
32, worked in building.
fit, healthy,
So,
worked in building.
I
had
laughed.
very
I laughed when
issues.
she's going, "You won't be able to do that job anymore," kind of thing.
He
I'm
was like, "That's what I'm doing.
yeah, whatever.
He was almost like I'd worked in employment, and he was actually going for his construction qualification at the time. We were about to go and get his ticket. You could do it because he'd been in the industry for so long that he was going to go and do his prove that I can work and get
Yeah,
his
you can level
his
up as long as you know what you're doing and you've got enough
because
evidence
he
that
nearly
you
got
worked
there years ago, but dropped out of his apprenticeship, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So he was about to go get qualified as a carpenter and go and take his career to the next level. That was where we were up to.
Yeah.
Because I had this thing at work where he could get his show me what you can do thing.
So anyway, back to the story.
But then that in his mind he was like, I'm about to go and do my own thing, and he was going to
it's
go
fine.
out and do
This is what I do.
and be like
And I enjoy
carpentry
it.
wage.
I like
and,
that work. It's good work.
And he was ready to go get paid better because in the country he was being paid labourers' wages, and he wanted to go out on his own and start doing what he used to do in Sydney, which was proper handyman work and get paid properly and actually have the tickets to do it because he needed it now.
Anyway, we're so off track about talking
No, we're
about
not,
carpentry.
because we're saying that you were so solid in
yes,
where you
I
were
was about
going
to
that
do
in your
that.
mind you were like, it's not possible. So Matt was like, thank you very much. Anyway, I'll take it with a grain of salt, a bit of entertainment kind of thing.
It was just entertainment.
And then
it was like, I don't even know, 3 or 4 months.
it was
like
pretty
that.
soon after.
It was pretty soon after. And my back just fell apart.
And quickly, like the whole body.
Yeah, totally.
Wasn't just the back, it was the whole body.
And when my back went, it was so full on, like the first time that I did it, I shattered teeth in my face.
Yeah.
I bit down so hard that I shattered my back teeth.
Yeah, I had to go
I
to
just
the
had a
dentist
mouthful
as well.
of teeth, spitting them out because, oh, fuck. The pain was immense. It was fucked up. And, but, getting a bad back from construction is not unusual.
No.
But the way this
was,
happened,
yeah.
oh my God.
It wasn't like a normal workplace. I fell off a roof, hurt my back.
No, that's what I should have done.
There was no major
injury.
injury. There was
the only thing I'd done to really set it was we hadn't built the back steps yet.
No, and you stepped
and
off.
I jumped down. I had a fair bit of gear on me. Like I was,
so it was
I
a
was
bit
pretty
of
heavy.
impact.
Yeah, so I hit hard, and when I hit, I just ate my teeth.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh my God.
So that jolted
But
everything.
then that went away.
Yeah.
And then, well, I thought it was going away. Oh,
he went back to work after about 2 weeks of being flat on his back and had the x-rays, had everything. The x-rays showed some like white patches, which are like arthritis. And so the doctor said there is arthritis here, which for his age is very unusual. It's too young for arthritis.
Well, they were saying it was too young. So
she said osteoarthritis at Turos.
Yeah.
She said that.
Yeah.
And then it just kept going. So he would be all right for a week or two, and then bang, he'd be on the floor again. And it was whole body, like he'd have like fevers almost and be like really shaky and just feel tired. And so we knew that it was more than just back injury.
Yeah.
So Mum was right. He couldn't go back to construction anymore.
Never did it again.
And he was just like, what the hell, your mum cursed me. That was always the joke.
Yes, that was the joke.
That my
I know
mum
she
cursed
didn't,
him.
but
No,
it was,
she was literally
it was
just
funny. I blame her for jinxing it and the curse.
the jinxing it. Yeah.
The curses.
And so, but she could see that even though at the time it didn't look like that would even happen. And she wasn't saying it to scare him.
No, no,
She
it was
actually,
just information. She was
it
just
was in
relaying
the
it.
middle. And then at the end, everything looked better. Like it looked like if this didn't happen, not that it should
Yeah, it
happen
wasn't
like
like you'll
this.
never fucking do anything again. You're going to be
No,
dead, and your life will suck. It wasn't that kind of reading. She just said you're going
it's
to have
going to
to adapt to
change.
change, and it's
And
coming
yeah,
for you really quick. Watch out.
and so it meant that Matt's whole life he had to start thinking outside the box in terms of what's next. And what it meant, though, really, was that we got to start our own
Yeah,
business
well,
and
we
have our
went.
children.
Well, we're not going to work for people again.
Yeah. And we did
Screw
it
it.
for our kids when they were young. We
Yeah.
actually were both home.
Yeah, we were 24/7.
And we
doing the
worked
thing.
online and we made a decent income to support our family. And we did that while they were little. And we had 4 kids under 7 and we still managed to do
Yeah,
that.
we always ran our own
Yeah.
businesses.
So,
So it wasn't a bad thing. It was
No.
a good push because
Yeah.
I would have got paid 10 times less
Mm.
working for other people. I was sick of that shit anyway. I wasn't going to
You
work
were
for people
about to
anymore.
level
I was
up
about
and-
to
yeah.
do it myself anyway. But, but it did force us into situations that weren't bad.
No.
There's nothing bad. Being in pain when it kicks your ass sucks.
yeah.
But that's just a reality now. So it's like, whatever.
But I think
But-
it also helped with my natural medicine side of it too, because when obviously it was more our son that drove me into gear, but Matt's situation too made me start investigating what was involved with why he kept having these flare-ups. And so he totally natural all the treatments to manage his pain all the time
Yeah.
now, and manages it better than anyone I know who's got similar conditions on pharmaceutical drugs and stuff like that. And he's does have his moments. Like I'm not
Yeah,
saying
sometimes
you're
you
completely
feel
pain
shit,
free,
but that's okay.
but you manage better than you did back then even.
Yes, yes.
So the method of that mystical experience was that we leant into it a bit and just went, this sucks, how are we going to move forward, rather than being stuck in that going.
Well, we've never been stuck in anything
No,
going.
we try not
we
to be
don't do
stuck.
that.
We try to be solution
What a
focused.
waste of time.
And we were solution focused, and it meant that we could
Yeah, we just moved on. Did
move
lots
on. Yeah.
lots of different shit. Ran 10, 15 different
Yeah.
businesses.
And so it meant that that my mum actually could see the change that was coming, and she did it she could just see it that
And the
night.
cards weren't the fear thing.
No.
It's like, we'll suck for you.
Yeah.
It's really
She
going to
wasn't
suck.
going to sugarcoat
No,
it.
you're going to be in pain.
Yeah.
It's going to be horrible. Your health is going
And
to
I
be
do
really
readings
damaged.
like this to people too, and I
But
say it's
everything else will work itself out.
and
in
you
the
have
end.
a choice how you respond is always what the method of the cards is saying. Like you have a choice.
Yeah.
And so funny too that Matt's family at the time, not very much, like not the kind of people that would go and seek tarot readings
No way.
generally.
No way.
But when they knew who I was over time, they all wanted readings. And it was quite funny, wasn't it? Opening that up to your family and seeing their responses to it all,
Yeah.
and how interested they all were. I was
Funny
shocked
how many
by
people
that.
warp what was said as
Yeah.
well.
That
They
was-
really want something to happen.
Yeah.
They'll change the language that was used
yeah.
into some definite, I should have
Some
been,
of it was funny, yeah.
you know, and they're talking about stupid shit like winning the lottery or
I
something.
know, and I'm like,
And you're
I
like,
never,
no
I
one
would
ever
never even
said you were
predict
going to win the
that.
lottery. Ooh, what?
I would never predict that
As if,
even if
as
you
if
were.
some entity's going to so worry about shit like that.
It'd
Again,
be-
that's the bottom run. We're
Yes.
talking about people on the absolute bottom run.
And look, it can
of the
predict
pyramid.
unexpected events that are positive and things like that, and financial gain. But it's not like
Yeah.
literally, I would never say you're going to win the lottery.
No. How ridiculous.
Yeah, but no, mystic experiences is a big part, kind of who we are intrinsically. I'm very aware spiritually. I think we're always trying to evolve and learn about that. Like
Yes,
I don't think
totally.
we ever just accept. Like if there's something to learn about spiritual knowledge, I'm up for it always.
Absolutely. So I'm on-
Always.
even on an average week, my basic research, which could be a couple of hours a day of
True.
finding, stuff to read, and it comes into it. Even today, I just came across one, and it was kind of like negative
Yeah.
energy, but they weren't being negative about it. They were just talking about it, whatever.
Yeah.
And that was what I was reading about today for half an hour.
And
20
that
minutes
is
or
the
something.
truth. Is that
And it just comes up. It finds you almost half the time.
and sometimes it's making you aware. And I think that one of the other thing mystical experiences is that it's not always fluffy either. Like
No.
there are very dark entities and energies
I've been
on this
attacked
earth.
in this spa by people who are possibly still kind of alive
We know who that,
who do
and it's
shit
not
like
the
that.
person; it's the
No,
energy
it's a
attached
will.
to the person.
It's like, yes.
Yeah,
They're very focused on me. Way too
Yes.
focused on me.
Since the
No
beginning.
need to be. Like,
Very.
oh,
And very much
they're very
like
threatened
that.
by me
Yes.
and very focused, which is weird. It's like having a super stalker.
Yeah.
But he's such an idiot
Yeah, the
that
person.
he doesn't even know what he's doing.
No,
Like
but
he de-wills me. He sends bad wishes to me.
yes.
Like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, and causes like
And
a
causes drama
raft,
all the
yeah.
time, trying to
But
fuck me
you've
up.
distanced
I
and you don't
a
even
shit
give
about
him
this
any
fucking
energy.
idiot. No, I don't give a fuck.
So no energy
An
gets
idiot.
given to that entity,
No,
but tries
but
to come back.
God, it just.
But have you noticed since we did the protection, we have to renew it continually,
Yeah.
that there hasn't been any of that.
But I think that's a valid thing that I after seeing what can go on, I actually think it's valid in my head. It doesn't have to be your opinion, and I don't care either way. Is that you can use what looks like, you know, ghostly spiritual shit going on. That can actually happen from people willing it.
Yeah.
Like when people will shit, they don't even understand. It's
How
so much bigger
powerful.
than just sending hate randomly to people.
Yes.
It affects the world. Like you're changing timeline stuff. You're creating problems.
You're sending
that are
negative
so
energy
big you don't even
towards
understand.
someone.
Yes, you shouldn't do that.
Yes, no.
Like I don't even, you know, ill wish this guy. I don't really give a shit.
No, it's
Like,
not worth it.
No, he's not worth my fucking time of day. So I don't care, and I don't, you know, like occasionally I joke about it and will say something pretty horrible, but just I'm joking. I'm not, you know, actually I don't care enough, and I feel like very bad karma to do that kind of shit.
Or sending it
especially
back
when you're
is
aware
probably
what
better.
you're doing. That
I usually, if somebody I know is targeting my energy, and look, when you are a powerful person in your own right, when you live autonomously, you're going to get haters. It's just how it is.
absolutely.
And I don't obsess over that or care about that, to be honest with you. I couldn't give a shit. But if somebody's directing negativity towards me, and it has happened quite a lot in my life, my conscious thought will always be, I don't want any harm to come to them, but I'd like to send the energy back because it's not mine and I don't want to receive it. And so that's kind of I don't do anything, like I don't make up a big scene about it, but I will literally imagine that energy just pushing back. I'm not receiving it. It can go back whence it came. And then that goes back to them and they've got to work out what to do with it. It's not I didn't send this energy out, but I'm choosing not to receive it.
Deflect it a bit.
So deflect it a bit. You're allowed to. You don't have to take it on.
No.
And so that means sometimes choosing to distance yourself as well and pull back. And that can be tricky too. But they always come back to the other ones, have you noticed? That comes back to the need for solitude.
Oh, it does. We run the 1 to 8 at the moment, and as we go forward, it'll keep happening.
But it comes back to the need for privacy and detachment.
Absolutely.
Like, is that pull back from
and
spiritual?
it's like number 2, acceptance of self and others and nature. Like, I'm accepting that some people don't do what I don't like, but whatever.
And I accept
it's not my problem.
That there's going to be different frequencies on this earth, and you are going to... There are going to be very dark energies. Thank goodness they're far and few between compared to your neutrals or your light energies. But there are very, very heavy, dark presences on this earth. I've encountered one very major one in my childhood, and I would never forget the spiritual clash there with that person. And that sounds really full on, but I remember that exact, and knowing that was darkness and having to confront it at a young age was actually very powerful. But it also meant that from that young age, I knew that I was okay, I was protected, I was loved. And you can be loved you can be loved from energy as well.
Yes. The universe.
And
universe
you bring
does
that
love
in.
us all.
Yes.
It bothers with you, it puts up with you.
Yeah.
It crush you in a
if you
second.
bring love in, you will receive love, and you're worthy of love. Everybody's worthy of that.
Well, that's how many dark energies there are. Like on this planet, we should be living in utopia. There's no reason why humans shouldn't be really chilling and enjoying themselves. And,
no, exactly.
And people shouldn't be starving, and all the basic shit shouldn't be happening.
No.
You know, it's a reality that it doesn't have to be like that. But there's so many dark energies around. And sometimes it's like, I don't know, are people just such a shell? Are they such a fucking NPC that just entities just attack, like...
Yeah, I think
attach?
that's what it is.
They just come along and because the NPC changes all the time, weirdly. Like, suddenly they're flipping out over nothing and you're like, what's going on? Where did that come from? And it's like, it's almost like somebody just went whoop and took them over because they're so fucking dumb.
And I think
They're
it's
so
also
brain dead that it just attaches to
But
that
I also
kind of
think
person.
it's not just that. I think it's also when you take too much, like when you're somebody who comes into the earth and just expects, like you expect everything to go your way, or you expect, that's when I think it happens, because you're in that negative mindset anyway.
Yeah, totally.
And so I do believe it happens.
The never
then.
enough.
Yeah, the never enough types. Yeah.
And they'll sell their soul to get a couple of dollars, like weird.
And also just their existence depends on draining others' energy, you know, and that's the thing with this entity. There was a lot of destruction in that pathway, you know, before he even came into our family.
Yeah,
so
totally. His prior family and stuff is a nightmare story.
Yeah, the
it's
things
like,
that had happened around
something
him.
out of the Omen or something. I'm like, what's going on over there?
That's what I thought
pretty
too.
weird.
Yeah.
Guy's pretty fucking ordinary.
So that's our kind of summary of. There's so much we could spend the whole.
We could do another one because we come back more refreshed and a bit.
Yeah, for
so
Mystics.
We might do it.
We might do a part 2 for Mystic. Because
I think, and spiritual awareness. I think we did some Mystic experiences.
Maybe we could talk about spiritual awareness because I think it ties in, but
it kind of does.
Spiritual awareness is such a big. Mystic experiences and spiritual awareness is huge for us.
Yeah,
it's kind of what the essence is behind.
It's unbelievable. Like I know that if I told.
Yes.
We tell people our story. And
we do. And I'm not worried about that.
I don't care. I will say what is my truth. And if people don't like it, I don't really care. It's not my problem to care
And Matt
about.
and I have this.
We're nice enough to share our stories. And people will be like, you're cooked and all this shit. I don't even care.
That's fine.
Like, that's your reality. And I'm glad I'm not in it because it just seems like a negative throwing shit on people reality. Well, you can keep it.
And you can say we're cooked, but I'll send it back to you.
I don't even care. I am cooked. I don't even care.
But the biggest thing I think too, just leaving on this note, is that Matt and I, as a partnership, we always say to each other, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And I'm
always telling Mindy.
No, I don't.
I'm like, whoa, here we go. We're going again. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
But the biggest thing
just play it on your phone. Just let them know.
We ask of each other is to tell the other person if we're going totally off kilter. Like,
absolutely.
You know, if Matt thinks, oh my God, man, you've lost it, like, tell me.
Which is like twice a day. I've got to rein it in. It's okay.
But we have this understanding that if we feel like the other one is kind of getting lost along the way, or we will tell each other. Yeah. I don't think we've had to.
We don't have to do it too much. Twice a day.
No, I've had to pull in a little bit of things.
Don't worry about pulling in my shit. There's nothing to pull.
And not in a negative way, just in a, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this long term. Yeah. So what's going on?
Sometimes you can have too much fun.
That was, it was a long time ago, so nothing recent. But that is a big thing about awareness, is that we do have this kind of pact that we've made.
Yeah.
That is that we will. Like if someone's going way too far with a tangent or a thing, or getting stuck in something that's not serving them, or causing harm in some way, or we will pull the other person up. Absolutely. And we ask that of each other. It seems
natural to do.
Well, we've asked that of each other.
Well, you're trying to pull them up, make them better.
We're not doing it in a way that
angry
or in a
spit shit at you or anything.
Or in a way, like the only thing I ever want for my husband is for him to have fulfillment and to him to find his thing that makes him happy. I'm not there to try and,
I think it's being a cult leader. I think that's what it is.
I'm not trying.
I think.
Then we have to go back to the check yourself thing.
All right, we'll do it.
And I'll be like, that's too far.
An example see, in a year's time, I might be able to say that. I've got to wait. Be more patient.
See, that's too far, I would say.
Right, so you
just checking itself, yeah.
Right, so no cult leader stuff.
I just think that's a bit much.
All right. Thank you for the check. Sometimes I get carried away. I don't know. No. I don't know where it comes from. Could be an entity getting him in something. I cast thee away for another year. Come back there. We'll see where I'm up to.
We're not to that one's gone, all right? That one's a no. All right. Well, we'll catch you next time. But thanks for following our podcast. I think it's really great when people tune in. I know that we blur on a lot. But also I think that it was just so interesting stumbling across this hierarchy of needs and revisiting again, because I've looked at it from the my psychology friends and things like that. But now we're looking at it from a point of view
With
where,
some experience in life,
yeah,
it's very different.
yeah, exactly. And we're also in a point of our lives where we're ticking a lot of these boxes. And I'm like, maybe we
Interesting.
just did become accidentally
We
actualized.
bloody well did. That's why we're doing this
That's right.
podcast.
So we're
Yes.
sharing how and why and some of the experiences involved. So
Yeah.
if you want to get updated, subscribe just because you'll get told when we post a new video.
Well, sometimes they don't like.
Oh,
telling-
well,
They don't like sending my
in
notifications.
theory, you will get a thing to say that we've
In
posted a
theory,
video.
yeah.
And when we go live as well, we like to do that
Yeah,
sometimes
we
too.
do like doing that. Well, we're getting a bit
So-
more of it. We're just kind of,
Yeah.
doing our shit.
And we're kind of just finding our vibe still, but we'd love
Yeah.
to keep you on our pod. We're going to be doing lots more of these podcasts. So jump on and we'll catch you at the next one. But have a great week and we'll talk soon.